13, verse 16. But blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear. Call Layam La, Albanawa, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakat, Kwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone who rule well. Salutations to the Akim out there on the highways and the byways. Salutations to the hopeful elect. Salutations to you speckled birds, you Israelite foreigners. And shalom to the Akwaf, sitting and listening in silence as the scriptures say to do so. This is the book of St. Matthew, chapter 13, verses 16 and 17. But blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear. For verily I say unto you, that many prophets and righteous men have desired to see those things which ye see, and have not seen them, and to hear those things which ye hear, and have not heard them. So it's a blessing for us to be given this gift from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, to be able to recognize, acknowledge what's going on, to have the answers, to have the comfort, to have the confirmation, the names, to know our heritage, everything that we seeked before we came to the truth. Okay, it's a blessing. It's not to be taken lightly or to be taken for granted. This is a blessing. This is the most precious gift that you have ever received in your life, man. Okay? Better than any carnal thing you can think of, man. Again, you know who you are. You know the names of our Heavenly Father and His Son. Okay? We have the understanding of our history, and we are mentally and spiritually freed from the bondage that Esau has placed upon our people, man. So we have the intellect to be able to recognize and know what's going on here in Babylon the Great, aka America, man. Again, Saint Matthew 13, verse 16. But blessed are your eyes, for they see. So we see, we recognize what's going on. We have the answers. We have been given the manuscript, the blueprint, okay, the game plan of the adversaries, the enemies. Okay, so we know what's going on. We're literally 10 steps ahead of Esau and everybody else, man. 10 steps ahead of them, man. Okay? And your ears, for they hear. So we hear. We recognize the voice of Yahweh by Yahweh Shai. When we heard this gospel, this good news, it resonated with our spirit. It gave us comfort. It gave, again, confirmation. It took a lot of pressure, a lot of a weight off of our shoulders. You know, because with us finally receiving the answers that we desired, man, it was like, you know, that title of that movie, Waiting to Exhale. So we was waiting to exhale, and we exhaled. And it was just us exhaling of all the stress, the grief, the confusion. You know, it was a great abundance of relief. You know, to actually know who we are. Now, you know, you beloved Akim wa Akwaf, you knew damn well you wasn't no African American, you wasn't no Latino, Hispanic, and you damn sure ain't no Native American or Seminole Indian, man. Those are all bywords, man. And all the puzzle pieces came together. All the puzzle pieces came together, and we understood. Okay, so for our people to continuously, also too in the movie Malcolm X, and that just shows you that Jake, he wants to cleave on to lies, man. Because they showed our people the definitions of black and white, but they couldn't put that together and recognize that it was a byword. It was disrespect, okay? And also, too, for you to call yourself African American, you don't descend from two so-called white people. Leo Scipio Africanus Amerigo Vespucia, okay? And to be called Latino, Puerto Rican, Rich Port. To be called Hispanic, property of Spain. Okay, again, Native American, again, native to a white man, a so-called white man, which is an Edomite. Okay, to be called an Indian is a savage, man. Okay, all these bywords, man. Jamaican, wood and stone. Okay, Haitian. I believe Haitian goes into some form of definition of hell. Okay, so, you know, just to shoot a few things out there, but we're blessed to have the wisdom, the knowledge, and unlock the understanding within us. And that's why we conduct ourselves in a way that's acceptable to the Lord. Now, that's a precept I want to grab right here, but it's one that came to mind. Because with us being granted and considered and giving the benefit of the true knowledge, the true wisdom on high from Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, that makes us friends with the Heavenly Father and His Son. And we're going to prove that through Scripture. Bear with me. Okay, bear with me. Let me find this real quick. What is that? Is that? I think. Bear with me. I think this is it. Come. Is that the one that I want? This might be it. I'm just going to read it out. All right, this is the Book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7. And I'm going to start off at verse 24. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, starting off at verse 24. For wisdom is more moving than any motion. She passeth and goeth through all things by reason of her pureness. Okay, so that's the thing that we have right now is Sophia, that knowledge, that wisdom given to us from Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. You know, as it also stated in the book of Revelation, Yahweh Shai will knock at the door, and that door is your mind. So the Lord knocked at our mind, our door, and obviously, again, when we heard the gospel, it resonated with our spirit, and that's when Yahweh Shai, you know, started that confirmation. You know, he attempted to start the activation process within us, okay? So every single day we're being sanctified and purified by the knowledge, the wisdom, and the understanding. It's a process, okay? Everything is a process. Verse 25, for she is the breath of the power of the Most High and a pure influence. Okay, so that's an example for us. We were purely influenced by the words of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Continuing on. From the glory of the Almighty, therefore can no defiled thing fall into. And again, that all, as I just spoke prior, man, you know, at once we were defiled, but again, we're being purified by the word. Because again, it's a process. It doesn't just happen as soon as you hear the word, you automatically like that. No, it's a process every single day, man. You know, you're becoming that vessel, that lively stone that Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai intended you to be. Okay? And you know, it goes through experience and also, you know, being evaluated every single day. You know, also being put through the trials and the tribulations, which also goes into the book of Sirach, chapter 4. You can read that yourself. Okay? Verse 27, Wisdom of Solomon 7, verse 26, Salakia. For she is the brightness of the everlasting light, the unspotted mirror of the power of the Most High, and the image of His goodness. And being but one, she can do all things and remaineth in herself. And what does it say in the book of Isaiah, chapter 33, I believe? It says, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. And again, that's all we need to move forward in progress in these days to come. Because again, we have the cheat codes, we have the blueprint laid out in front of us, so we know how to conduct ourselves and go about things and have the correct discernment when all hell breaks loose. Okay, why do you think it says in various precepts that the righteous shall be merry-hearted? Okay, the righteous shall laugh at death. Okay, death shall come nigh thee. Death shall happen on this side and that side, but it shall not come nigh unto thee, roughly paraphrasing. And also states, you know, a hair of your head shall not perish. You know, just for, paraphrasing a few precepts. And it also states that we shall eat, we shall have this, that, and this. You know what I'm saying? So this is just a few things because of that knowledge, that wisdom, the understanding. And that, again, that's assurance for us to not have no doubts, no what if and this, to be wishy-washy. No, we stand on business because we know how about we see the history, man. You know, you see the history in the book of the Maccabees. You see the history in the book of Samuel, the Kings, the Chronicles, Judges, all the things that we went through, man. The Lord was always there for those that seeked him, those that were obedient to him. Why? Because they were blessed. They believed. They had trust. They had faith. And what does it state? In the book of Hebrews, chapter 11, and also through various other precepts. Faith is a very, very important concept to have. If you don't have faith, why are you here? Again, in Hebrews 11, verse 6, without faith, it is impossible to please Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. So Wisdom of Solomon 7, verse 27. And being but one, she can do all things and remaineth in herself. She maketh all things new. And were we not made new through this knowledge and this wisdom and understanding? Yes. We're being reprogrammed, processed to be newer every day, to be better than what we was the day before. Period. And that's what we have to strive to. You have to increase in this truth. And in general, you have to increase in life. And guess what? This truth is our life. There's nothing in the world for us. Look at our people, man. Look at the judgment videos that myself and other brothers do, man. And that's what the indulgement and partaking of the philosophies and customs of this world, man, which leads you to your demise, your destruction, man. So we don't want to be led astray, to be given and have this truth. Hebrews chapter 6, I believe, or maybe chapter 5, for those that were enlightened once, roughly paraphrasing, we don't want to be part of that. Also Hebrews 10, to fall back into perdition, man. These are all things that we got to keep, okay, in our spiritual and mental Rolodex, man. To remember, to have what? Humility. To remember to have patience. With that word patience goes into suffering, because this is hell. This is a nightmare. This is a nightmare every day. Do you really think any of you beloved Aki and Akwaf want to get up, go to the plantation, okay, pay all these bills, which is part of the curse, is subject to payments, Baruch, okay? And, basically, also in Haggai, pocket full of holes, man. So as soon as you get that so-called currency, it's falling out your pockets because you got bills you got to pay, okay? Masalakia. Wisdom of Solomon 7, verse 27. And being but one, she can do all things and remaineth in herself. She maketh all things new, and in all ages entering into holy souls, she maketh them friends of the Most High and prophets. So you friends, you women, you brothers that are not teachers, and you women, you become a friend if you have a husband that's not in the truth, or whether he's in the truth. The brothers have done videos on how to be womanly and to conduct yourself according to Yahweh Shem Yahweh's instructions. You're supposed to still be obedient to your husband, regardless if he's in the truth or not. You know what you got to do, because it also states in the Bible in I believe 1 Peter that you can save your husband. The husband was sanctified by the wife, and the wife sanctified by the husband, roughly paraphrasing. And you also want to, as it says in Philippians 2, verse 12, seek out their own salvation and trembling. And, also praying for the body, praying for the prophets, praying for one another. These are all good things to do in this third temple being built. These lively stones, man, it's being constructed together. Okay? And, Adawan Ratazah, through the knowledge, wisdom, and unlocking the understanding, we are not only the friends of the Most High, but also the prophets that also are out here sacrificing ourselves and being obedient and understanding our calling and our position. Teaching what we have mastered in this ministry. Because everybody, as it states in the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 12, everybody has a certain gift in this ministry. You should be praying to the Lord to ask him to reveal it to you so you can grow and prosper in that and be able to feed the flock, to do your part, okay? Because, we don't want to hear Yahweh shall come back and say, you ain't do a damn thing I told you to do. You were rebellious, disobedient. We don't want to hear that. We want to hear, good job, such and such, thou faithful and diligent servant. Okay, that's what I want to hear. Shit. All right, so verse 28. For the Most High loveth none but him that dwelleth with wisdom. And, you know, the Lord, as it states, the Lord resisteth the proud and he dealeth with the humble, man. And it's also another precept I want to grab just to prove that point. I could go to the book of, I think it's James, but it's something else. Yeah, I'm going to grab this one. This is one I can grab. This is the book of Sirach 3, verse 20. For the power of Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahawashi, is great, and he is honored of the lowly. So if the lowly is going to honor the Lord's going to exalt them in due time. And, you know, just to grab it real quick, because it is a good I think it's is it Hebrew? It might James, Salakia, James. It might be James, Salakia. Let me see real quick. I think it might be James. If I, damn it. Bear with me 1 second, man. Okay. Might be James or another one. Yeah, Khan. All right, this is the book of St. James, chapter 4, verse 6. But he giveth more grace, wherefore he saith, the Most High, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahawashi, resisteth the proud, but giveth grace unto the humble. Okay, and it's also another one, verse 10. I'm going to drop down to verse 10. Humble yourselves in the sight of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahawashi, and he shall lift you up. And what is that lift up going into? The increase of the secrets being revealed, the understanding of the precepts, the prophecies mainly, because as it states in the book of Revelation, chapter 19, verse 10, those that have the spirit of Yahawashi have the spirit of what? Prophecy. Okay, and I'll always say it, and I'm going to continue to say it. A prophet must prophesy, because prophecy comes from a prophet. Those two words are the same, just certain things taken out. Okay, a prophet must prophesy, and prophecy must come from a prophet. That's a lesson right there. For you beloved brothers that's listening, that's a lesson. Grab the precepts. Shit, I might do it myself too. You know, let's eat. Let's feed the flock, man. You know, but we're blessed. Okay, you know, as they didn't go into the lesson, we're blessed. All these things, you know, to be given the knowledge, the wisdom, and unlock the understanding is a blessing, man. To know the names, to wake up every single day, to still be in the mindset that you know Yahweh Yahawashi, that you understand the breakdowns, you understand the prophecy, you understand what you're seeing has been revealed to you, okay? And also too to you know, which is something that, you know, we got to continue to pray for, is to have that same spirit when you first came into the truth. You was zealous, you was on fire, man. You know, I know myself, man. You know, I was going bananas out here for the truth when I was fired up, man. You know, I was at the point I was going out to the highways and the byways before I got in GMS, damn near 3-4 times out the week, man. The brothers had to tell me to slow down, which I understand, because you'll burn yourself out. You'll burn yourself out. I was doing live streams almost every day, putting up at least 2 or 3 videos every day. You know, I mean, that's what it was. But, you know, could I do that now? I wish I could. I hope I could. But, you know, at least a video a day. And, you know, maybe a couple more live streams now than, you know, to get back on it. But, you know, I don't want to what's the word? Exhaust. I don't want to exhaust myself. Let's say that, you know what I mean? But I want to make sure that I'm feeding the flock and doing what I need to do. But let's grab this real quick, because I've been holding this. This is St. Matthew's 10, verse 16. Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Okay? Because we know we're in the midst of wolves, unruly, wicked, ruthless, savage niggas that call themselves Israelites. Okay, you got a lot of these jakes that are still worldly, still gravitating and bringing the concepts, the traits, the characteristics, all the philosophies of the world into this truth. Okay, down in the elder apostles, the real prophets, but yet embracing filth. Okay, doing everything that's not in the spirit. Everything that the Lord said for us not to do, they do. Okay? Because preaching and teaching is not enough. And just as well as we read in our Bible, in our history, about how our people turn their backs on the prophets, that's going to happen again. You're going to have people that claim they're in the truth, that claim to know the name, that say the name, that do the work, that's going to go against the true men. Okay, you're gonna have, because look, man, everybody says what they about right now. But again, it's gonna come that furnace of adversity, the trials, the tribulation, the real. When you're gonna have to really, you say you an Israelite, you say you believe in Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, well, guess what? The Lord's gonna put the spirit on this psychopath, okay? This maniac, Esau Edom, the so-called self-proclaimed white man, the goddamn devil that the Bible speaks of. Well, he's gonna come in your house. He might come to your job, however the Lord sees fit in your lot, in your portion. However the Lord does it for you, He's gonna see if you really, which the Lord knows, but He's gonna see whether you truly believe what you say and you're gonna stand on it. And it might come to a point, Esau might snatch you up, take you to a location you don't know where you at, and he might have your family, your wife, your kids in front of you. And what are you going to do? You an Israelite? Are you going to submit to me? You're going to do this? You're going to do that? He might execute your family in front of you. But do you believe you'll have your family back in the kingdom? Do you believe Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai will lift up a standard for you? Do you believe all the documented things that the Lord has done for our people? Do you believe that? Do you believe that the Lord is going to reward those that have to, be slaughtered for this truth, that have to be beheaded, etc.? Do you believe that? The Lord is going to put everybody, including myself, through that furnace of adversity, through that trial, okay, through those tribulations, man, okay? And I don't want Ratazah. I don't want Ratazah, because man's goings are of the Lord. Man's goings are of the Lord. And that's why, again, speaking back to how we conduct ourselves and that spirit that we have and going into faith, we and myself, because I'm going to speak for myself, I hope and pray that Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, whatever I have to go through, that I don't fold, I don't disrespect him, I don't rebel against him, I don't do anything that's going to be offensive, not pleasing to him, whatever it may be. I hope the Lord gives me the spirit to endure that, and whatever it is, to just take it and to have that faith, to have that belief, to have that trust, man. Okay? St. Matthew, St. Matthew 10, verse 16. Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves, man. And that's why, we're spiritual men. Okay? We're spiritual men, but you can't be spiritual with a carnal Negro, and you can't be carnal with a spiritual man. So, and we also understand too that the Lord is going to avenge us, and we put all our matters into the hands of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. That's why we're wise as serpents and harmless as doves. Also going into the book of Ecclesiastes, there's a time for this, a time for that, a time for this. Okay? And right now is the time to preach. Right now is the time to condemn, to edify, to uplift, to exalt the words of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Point blank, period. Okay, so, a precept just came to mind. I had to think about it first. But, this right here is something that just came to mind, what I just spoke about. And, I don't want to write the Zah. This is edifying. I think I'm going to close out here because I've been out here for like 20 minutes. And, I don't want to write the Zah. This is edifying, uplifting, and informative to you, true, sincere, beloved, Akim wa Akwaf. This is 1 Peter chapter 1. And I'm going to start off at verse, beautiful, beautiful. Verse 5. Who are kept by the power, verse 4, to an inheritance, okay, to an inheritance incorruptible, undefiled, and that fadeth not away, reserved in heaven for you, who are kept by the power of the Most High through faith. You listen, through faith unto salvation, ready to be revealed in the last time. So we got to have that faith. You got to believe what we read, what we recite, what the Lord has us speaking through the Spirit to you. Because, again, as I always say, when you just close to the camera, you look at, I don't know if it's buffering right now. If it's stopped buffering, let me know, Baba Gusha. I can't even try because I'm on my main phone. Is it still buffering? This man's a damn devil, man. Damn, this man's the fucking devil, man. You go in to do it. Okay, Thawada, brother, Thawada. All right, let me continue on, man. So I know some brothers and sisters probably left, but let me read this again. 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 7, that the trial of your faith being much more precious than of gold that perisheth, though it be tried with fire, might be found unto praise and honor and glory at the appearing of Yahushua HaMashiach, whom having not seen, ye love, in whom though now ye see him not, yet believing ye rejoice with joy unspeakable and full of glory, receiving the end of your faith, even the salvation of your souls, of which salvation the prophets have inquired and searched diligently, who prophesied. Again, what did I say earlier? A prophet must prophesy of the grace, because this is a grace period for us. And we take this grace period seriously. You see these other niggas, these stupid, simple Negroes, Hispanics, Native and Semitic Indians, they don't take this seriously, man. They take this grace period for a joke. Everything's a fucking joke with Jake, man. Everything. Everything's a joke with you niggas, man. Everything, man. That's why judgment is overdue for Israel, man. Especially the 2/3 of the 2/3, man. But you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Native and Semitic Indians that know the truth, that know the names, that have the understanding of the precepts, the prophecies, you deserve exactly what the Lord has in store for you, man. Because you take this grace period for a joke, man. A lot of you niggas are simple, man. The same rebellious, okay, just disobedient Israelites from back then, from every single captivity, man, that was purely wicked, man. That knew the names, okay, understood the history, everything, and just purely evil and wicked, man. The same people we read about in the book of Maccabees, in the book of Samuels, in the Chronicles, all that, man, in the Kings, those same people, man. And that's the precept for it right there, Thawada, beloved. Okay? Verse 10 again. Of which salvation the prophets have inquired and searched diligently, who prophesied of the grace that should come unto you, searching what manner of time the spirit of Hamashiach, which is the spirit of prophecy, which was in them, did sanctify, when it testified beforehand the sufferings of Hamashiach and the glory that should follow. Okay? And we believe that, man. You know, we believe that. So we stand on business. We take the grace period seriously. We have the faith. And with all that means what? We're blessed. We're blessed above measure. Because again, man, the first thing, as stated in various precepts, to fear the Lord is the beginning of understanding. And a lot of these Israelites do not, I repeat, do not fear Yahweh wa Yahweh Shai. Everything's a joke to Jake. Okay, Jake only fear losing his income. Jake only fears, making his name look bad to society, but not to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it right there, man. I don't want to rock this. I hope and I pray that this was edifying, uplifting, and informative to the true, sincere Aki and One Akwaf. Salaki, that the phone was buffering. This man's the damn devil. Every time you go in, man, Esau always want to come in and try to mess with the live stream, man. But I don't want to rock this out, man. I hope and I pray that this is edifying, uplifting, and informative to the true, sincere Aki and One Akwaf. So with that, I'm just gonna say, in Salaki too, next week, I believe Monday and Tuesday is going to be the new moon, so that's going to be the new Shabbat. Next Monday and Tuesday, I believe the elders and other brothers have posted those videos to inform y'all. But just in case you didn't know, next Monday and Tuesday, so it's going to be a double Sabbath. It's going to be a double Sabbath next week. Because as you know right now, Sunday to Monday, which right now is the Sabbath, so Shabbat Shalom. And then after that one goes down, the new moon comes up Monday and Tuesday, and that'll be the new moon for the next month, which is the 12th month, and which also another high holy day is Purim, okay, which I believe, I'm not sure, I think, Well, we'll inform you when it goes down. But just to give you a heads up, hey, I don't want Bartazar was edifying. Love y'all. Lord willing to the next one. Shalom.